So here's the big question. How are entrepreneurs like us, who have been hustling and struggling to make it to success, who seem to make it one step forward only to fall two steps back, who are dedicated, determined, and driven, how do we finally break through and win? That is the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. My name is Brian Kelly, and this is the Mind, Body, Business Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Mind, Body, Business Show. We have another phenomenal guest lined up for you tonight. I cannot wait to introduce her to you. It is the one and only Amanda Slade. Yes, I said it, Amanda Slade. She is in the house. She is ready. She's waiting, and she's going to come on really, really soon. But first, the Mind, Body, Business Show. What is that all about? It is a show for entrepreneurs by entrepreneurs. That the mission of this show, and it's my personal mission, is to bring on highly successful individuals and really elicit what is it that has made them successful in their life, both business and personal. And the purpose of that is so that you, the audience member, you that are watching, you that are listening, you can simply take notes and then model what they have done to achieve success. And model is just a fancy word for copy. And I know, without even asking each and every guest that comes on, I do ask them on occasion, that you have their permission to copy them, to basically mimic or model what they have done to achieve success. And that's why I love, one of the reasons I love what I get to do on this very show. And I meet so many amazing people like Amanda, and we're going to have a lot of fun. The Mind, Body, Business Show, it's based on the three pillars of success, as I call it. And it's based on those three words that are the very title of the show. And mind is about mindset. And what I did was, over about a decade or so, I studied only successful people. And that's when I realized those three things kept bubbling up to the top that were apparently obvious, that each and every successful person paid special focus and attention to. One was their mindset. They have very powerful and, even more importantly, flexible mindset. And then there's body. This is what's interesting to me, because I found that every single person that I studied that had achieved an enormous amount of success also took very good care of their body, and literally by exercising and by proper nutrition. And then business is very, very multifaceted. To build and develop and grow a thriving, successful business, one needs to master a myriad of skill sets like sales, marketing, team building, leadership. I could go on quite a while on this, and many of you who are already entrepreneurs can understand that. And the thing is, to master any one thing can take a very long time. It's like becoming an expert at something takes 10,000 hours of focused attention. It's no different with mastering skill sets that are required to build a thriving business. The good news is, before you go, oh my God, I'm never going to get there. The good news is that you do not have to master every one, not even the ones I just listed. If you just mastered just one skill set, then the others can fall into place quite nicely. And that one skill set, if you're even curious, are you curious? That one skill set is the skill set of leadership. And that is even true if you're a solopreneur, because you want to be cognizant of how you are leading yourself and train yourself to lead yourself in ways that are serving to you and your business. And then when you bring on a team, really develop and hone in those leadership skills, because once you have those mastered, once you've mastered leadership, and even before then, you can bring in those individuals into your team that have already mastered the skill sets that you either have yet to, or maybe never will get to because of time restraints mastering. So that's a very good news story. So really hone in on leadership skills going forward. That's my humble advice to you. And another wonderful attribute of the very successful people that I had studied is that, to a person, they all were very avid readers of books. And with that, I'd like to segue very briefly into a quick segment I like to call bookmarks.
Bookmarks. Born to read. Bookmarks. Ready, steady, read. Bookmarks. Brought to you by reachyourpeaklibrary.com.
And yes, Amanda Slade is coming on. I haven't forgot about her. She is still waiting there anxiously saying, come on, Brian, stop yakking and bring me on already. Yes, it's coming very soon. And no, she doesn't talk like that. She's very wonderful and sweet and kind. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com. One of the things I want to point out before we go any further is just another piece of advice. And that is, instead of succumbing to that itch to go click away and check these resources out, you're going to hear of several during the show. And Amanda will be the one providing most of the juice, I can only imagine. Instead of clicking away, get out a piece of paper, old school, I'm talking old school, and write it down. And then when the show is over, and only then, go visit. Here's the reason why. I've spoken from stage numerous times. And, when I'm on stage, I know what I'm about to say. We've practiced, we know what we want to say to get the value to our audience. And I can't tell you how many times I know I'm getting to the real sweet spot, the juicy spot, and it's going to change people's lives. And sometimes I'll see someone get up and leave the room to go to the restroom or to take a phone call. For you, what I would implore of you to do is not to take your attention away from the show. Instead, write the note, get it down, write it, and then put your gaze back and your ear back, if you're listening on podcast only, to Amanda and what she has to say tonight. That is my advice to you. I personally will be taking notes as well. I'm running the whole show, and I'm also doing the interviewing and everything. And I myself take notes. So I'm not asking you to do anything I myself am not willing to do. So hope that's fair. Reachyourpeaklibrary.com is something I had put together and built with you in mind. And you being the astute entrepreneur who is looking to grow, who is looking to take that yourself and your business to the next level. And so what I did was I began compiling a list of books that I personally have read and vetted, and only books that are in here are the ones that had profound impact on me, either business-wise, personally, or even both. And they're in here in no particular order. This is not a website that I had built with any purpose or cause or goal of making money. It is just here for you to be able to swoop in, scroll down the first book that jumps off the page that you have not read, just click it, get it, and read it. And that's my advice to you, because reading books does change lives as long as you read the right books. It's okay to read leisure books and have fun with fiction. I'm not saying that. Don't do that. But just make sure that your time is well spent, especially if you're looking to grow in your business or your personal life. That is it. I am done. I am off my soapbox because I really want to talk to Amanda more than just sit here and blab all the way. So let's bring her on, shall we? Here we go. Amanda Slade.
It's time for the Guest Expert Spotlight. Savvy, skillful, professional, adept, trained, big league, qualified.
And there she is. It's only Amanda Slade. Yes.
Yay! Woohoo! We're here together. That's going to be great.
Yes, and it already has been. You've been such a joy to talk to. Before we started the show, we had a good chance to get to know each other. That's one thing I'm finding about all the guests that come on my show, Amanda, and you're no different, is there's this instant connection quality where I feel like I've known you. And it's a testament to the people who referred you to come onto the show and the ones prior to that. It's just the successful people all seem to have this wonderful rapport building skill, and you're one of them.
Thank you.
It's the most genuine, most authentic people, in my humble opinion, that get the most success, because success is very subjective, right? It's not objective. It means different things to different people. So, but success is about happiness. It's whatever it is for most people. But the ones that I see that really catapult in business are those that are the most authentic and work with the most integrity and character, such as yourself, Amanda.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I will let her talk just in a moment. We have a little bit of housekeeping to take care of, and then yes, we will. So first of all, for those of you that stay with us live on video to the end of the show, you are going to get the opportunity to win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. And that is compliments of our sponsors. You see them up there if you're watching the video in the upper right hand. of the big insider secrets. That's Jason Nass, my very dear friend, who has given us the ability to do this each and every show. It's amazing. You do not want to miss that. So stay on to the end. You want to listen to Amanda all the way through. And then that's just bonus material. And it's a big bonus. And then a couple other things and we'll get rolling here. All right. Sound good? All right. If you're struggling with putting together a live show and it's overwhelming and you want a lot of the processes maybe done for you instead of you doing them all yourself, while still enabling you to put on a very high quality show and connect with great people like Amanda Slade and grow your business all at the same time, then head on over to carpetbombmarketing.com. Carpet Bomb Marketing, saturate the marketplace with your message. And one of the key components that is contained in the Carpet Bomb marketing system is one that you'll learn how to absolutely master. And it's actually the very service we use right now, right here, to stream our live show. And it's through a company and a resource called StreamYard, as you can see on the screen if you're watching this. And we do that here on the Mind Body Business Show. And over the course of, gosh, it's been 10 years now, I've tried so many quote unquote TV studio solutions for live streaming of shows. And StreamYard has risen to the top and has become, in my humble opinion, the best of the best. It combines supreme ease of use along with unmatched functionality. So write this URL down. Don't go visit it. Write it down. It's ryp.im/stream live all together. ryp.im/stream live, all lowercase. And you just type that in your browser and that'll take you right to it. So you can start streaming high quality, professional looking live shows for free instantly. So go ahead and write it down and visit it after the show. And now it's time to bring on the real star of the show, the one and only Amanda Slade. Here she is, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. I love it. And so, Amanda,
Yes.
You are an amazing woman. We had some great time to chat. And what I like to open each show with is to really dive deep into my guests, into their brain, that beautiful brain of yours. And don't worry, this won't hurt at all. What I like to do is, a lot of our level of success or lack thereof, in my humble opinion, is really due to everything that's going on between our two ears. It's what's going on in our mind. And I know that you resonate with that because of the very business that we'll get into that you are in. But for you, when you get up in the morning and like an entrepreneur, you'll always have arduous tasks awaiting. Not every day is rosy and sunshine and sipping umbrella drinks while swaying back and forth on a hammock. There are times when there's work that has to be done. And knowing that, and knowing you're going to hit setbacks, speed bumps, those kind of things, what is going on in your mind, Amanda Slade, when you get up in the morning that keeps you just driven, no matter what, every single day, day in and day out?
Well, Brian, that's a great question. I think, first of all, it's one, I love what I do. So, I wake up in the morning and I'm an early bird, like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. And I pretty much hit the ground running when that happens. But I take a moment and I make sure I sit down and really open it up and call in divine source, God, however you want to term that, my spirit guides, all those that help me from an etheric level. And in that gets me in any kind of mindset. Even if I wake up feeling, oh my God, I got all this stuff to do, I calm down and I get grounded and centered.
And isn't that beautiful? Because that's the thing that a lot of people don't seem to think about, is that we have a choice.
We do.
All of us, everyone, and how we react to our current circumstance. Like you said, if you get up and you're not feeling great, something's not right, you still have a choice on how you react to that. And you just very eloquently said how you do it. And so what a great thing to model. I talked about modeling on the onset of the show. That would be one. Oh my gosh, a major one. Everyone watching and listening. That's a very important one because our mindset is so important. So I appreciate you for sharing that, Amanda. Already, see, this could be the entire show right there. It is that valuable. I'm not kidding.
Well, and I call it with my clients, it's a conscious choice, because we can be in choice, but sometimes people do choice through autopilot, right? And they do it because of conditioning and programming or what they think they should do. And when you really are tuned in and tapped into yourself and knowing what's true for you, you can then make a conscious choice. Even if things are not going well, you can make a conscious choice that you can make it fun, or you can, be in a good mood about it, or see the possibilities of it rather than spiral down into the doldrums.
And it seems interesting to me that we seem to be wired by default to do the spiraling down. Isn't that interesting? Why is that? And do you have an opinion on why we tend to want to do that as a default behavior versus now we have to train ourselves to snap out of it and go the other way?
Yes, I do. Well, first of all, that's from a humanity standpoint, from human being standpoint, we are wired to operate through fear instead of through love. And we also motivated through fear instead of love. We're conditioned and programmed that way. This is the way that we were taught. This is the way that things were modeled to us. And not saying anything wrong about that, but it's also part of the evolutionary process that we're going through, because we're moving from a third dimensional kind of vibration, which is based on fear, survival, and the past, being stuck in the past mostly. And instead of going into the fifth dimension, the bridge is the fourth dimension, but the fifth dimension operates through love and passion and joy, co-creation, collaboration, and it's a higher frequency. But if you notice what's going on in the world, there is this battle. We see it throughout the world because many are stuck in that third dimension out of that fear and operate from fear and control and power. And there are many of us that are going, no, we want to live here and create through here. So.
Yeah. It's like there's fear of change, there's even fear of success. My goodness. I've run into that a lot, which even myself, you self-sabotage, you get right to that point where you're going to hit that step and suddenly go, nope, not going to take that step. Don't know why. I'm like, why did I just stop? There's all those things that happen.
That can be, again, conditioning, programming, but it can be what's in your cellular memory because of past experiences, whether it's this lifetime or for those that do believe in past lives, there can be past life bleed-throughs that are coming through that maybe you were successful in another lifetime or even this lifetime, but something happened and it took it all away. So then you have that being held in your cellular memory and you go, okay, I'm going to keep trying to be successful. And you go to that 70, 80%, but you won't let yourself go to the 10, 20%. The ego, the mind takes over, the subconscious takes over and says, oh no, we're not going to go there, because remember what happened last time? And this is especially true in relationships and love, how people, oh, I want to be in relationship. I want love. I want that. But they're so afraid of actually being loved or giving love.
Yeah. And it's almost sad in a way, because it's what we were designed to do, is to love, in my humble opinion, and to be harmonious with each other. And it's almost sad that many of us were conditioned, and nearly everybody, I can't think of anyone that I know, including myself, that wasn't conditioned in a different way than we.
Well, we were conditioned through codependency. So, we grew up in a codependent world, and that codependency doesn't allow for us to really be our true self, because we're so worried about, what others are thinking, or what other, is it okay, if I do this or if I say this. And in codependency too, we tend to overgive, overdo, compensate, or we're over responsible. And the codependency is looking for love and validation and approval from the outside instead of from within.
Very, very interesting. Yeah, so much. You said the fifth dimension, and we were talking about this before. we went live, and I thought, I didn't even know there was a fourth dimension. Where'd the fifth come from? And then you explained there was a bridge, but the way you explained the fifth dimension sounds like a wonderful place to me. I don't know anybody in their right mind that wouldn't want to be in that fifth dimension, because I didn't hear one negative word in that dimension come out.
Well, and we're not saying that when you're in the fifth dimension doesn't mean that you're not going to have challenges, but it's how you deal with your challenges, like what we were just talking about with the conscious choice. And in the third dimension, you're actually, again, motivated by fear, but also by ambition. But sometimes it's blind ambition, where when you go into the fourth dimension, if things are based from meaning, what's meaningful for you and meaningful work or that type of thing. But when you're in the fifth dimension, it's about being in soul alignment with what your soul's purpose and plan is and what you came here to do this lifetime.
I love it. I love it. Soul alignment.
Yes.
Oh, my goodness. I didn't even give you the proper introduction that you so deserve. I was so excited to bring you on. I think I'm going to back up and do that so people understand and get a better understanding of your background, your accolades. Would that be okay with you, Amanda?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Goodness, I'm like, I've done this for over 3 years and I never do that. I never forget. So I'm going to blame it on you because I was excited. No, I'm kidding. It's not your fault. It's all mine. So here's the introduction. Everybody ready? When Amanda Slade's soul got her fired after attaining success as a VP of marketing and sales for a New York publishing firm and 20 years in corporate, she did not have a plan B and knew something was missing in her life. Amanda took a journey to discover she is an evolution catalyst. And with her background, she bridges the woo factor, I love that, with the practical. She is the founder of CoCreate Your Success and creator of the Diamond CoCreative system. That's trademark, so don't take it. Which offers soul-aligned possibilities and SOUL-utions so you can thrive and prosper in life and business. For over 2 decades, Amanda has facilitated energetic healing, transformation, and spiritual growth with thousands of clients internationally. That's why I really wanted to get this out here. Traveling as far as Australia. You can't go much farther than Australia from the U.S. It's down under. Amanda is a contributing author to the #1 international best-selling anthology, Empowered Self-Care, and has been featured on the global summit of the Shift Network, as well as other tele-summits, radio shows, and podcasts. She also speaks at business and spiritual events. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage after 20 minutes of talking, Amanda Slade. Yes. And in all seriousness,
I have a saying, it's never too late. I got married when I was 61, so it's never too late.
Wait a minute. No way. You're not 61. You're not. No. I don't.
Well, no, that was 5 years ago.
Now I really don't believe it. No way. No how. You do look truly amazing. I will tell you that. And the blue is wonderful on you. It is beautiful.
Thank you.
So yeah, and you're radiant. Yeah. So I just want to make this point real quick. Here is an example. This is a product of the product. She has chosen to live in the fifth dimension where everything is a choice of positive reaction versus a negative reaction, or a choice of empowerment and productivity and moving forward, and a choice of abundance instead of scarcity. All of the wonderful things. When you live in that space, isn't life grand? I mean, compared to when you're in that third dimension, as you've described it, because like you say, many people are in that third dimension. I've been there. I live more in the fifth by your description, and it is such a much better place to live.
Yeah. And again, it doesn't mean that there aren't dips, or it doesn't mean that, there aren't challenges that happen, but it becomes, well, how long am I going to stay in the dip? Like you were just talking about the scarcity or abundance, I can live in scarcity, or I can live in the possibilities and abundance of what's to come, and it doesn't mean that you don't have to take care of what's happening in the present moment. You do, but you do not have to be a victim to it. That's the
life still happens, and it's all about how you react to it. And there's a saying that my mentor, I don't know if he originated it, but it was something to the effect of you can either let your circumstances control your attitude, or you can let your attitude dictate your circumstances. And like you said, there are moments, life happens, circumstances, which are typically a negative thing in that context, that happens. And we do need time to kind of assess it, to get over it. The cool thing is with what you're talking about is a means of getting over it much quicker, and then shifting your all your energy back toward where it was in the positive realm. Is that an accurate description?
That's an accurate thing, but it's not just getting over it. It's actually dealing with what did you attract that manifested your result in that moment. And so if you have certain things that you're attracting or certain things that are happening in your life that you do not like, then you have to look at it from an energetic standpoint. Like, what are you vibrating to? So if you're vibrating in victimhood or vibrating in scarcity or lack, then that's what you're going to keep on getting. But if you can raise your consciousness, but also raise your vibration to match what your desires are and your intentions are, then what happens is you start manifesting what you truly want. You can take a really difficult situation, and I think we've seen this all throughout the world, is when you see a difficult situation, or you go through a difficult situation, there's always a beautiful gem and gift within it. There's always another side of it. So you can stay over here for a long, long time. You can choose suffering and struggle, or you can say, okay, I'm going to move myself out of here. But it happens through energetic alignment.
It's interesting that you say that, because there has been something going on this show. And that message in a certain way has been a theme throughout. And what happened, it was so amazing, because that very thing happened to me personally, where I was doing something that I didn't know I wasn't in full alignment with. There was a positive thing. I was doing something good. It just wasn't my passion. Mm-hmm. And I realized, by the help of many friends, including my wife, in a 1 month period, I was given 4 different people tell me the same thing in different ways. I finally realized, my God, they're right. I like doing this instead of what I'm doing now. And I literally just completely walked away from that previous business model. And I got rid of the website, deleted it the following day. And it had a lot on it, a lot of videos. I was a certified personal trainer, and I developed a workout regimen, and all of them were done on video. In one day, I just swept them out, gone. And I felt zero remorse. I knew I did the right thing. And I finally hit that spot, what you're talking about, that I never really knew what it was, because I hadn't reached it yet. Yeah. And I just say that to help others, that, if you haven't felt that yet, then it's like that kind of thing when you meet it's going to be your spouse. If you're going to marry them, you'll know. If you love them, you'll know. It's kind of like that. You'll know if you're in the right space. And if you don't feel that, then maybe it's time to look at other things that you're more passionate about. Maybe ask others who know you really, really well to say, what am I missing? Yeah. What do you think about? Does that ring true?
Absolutely. Well, I was just looking at one of the questions that we were going to talk about. Like you said, how do you, what's the best, how long do you stick with an idea before giving up, right? Before giving it up. Yeah. And it really is that if the energy is there and you feel energized by it, one of the things I teach is called the compassion test. If you think of compassion, break it down into 3 words: compass, passion, pass. If you use compassion as, let's say you're contemplating something, have an idea, or you've been working on something, but it doesn't seem to be going anyplace, or someone makes a request of you, if you feel into it, if you take a breath and just take a moment and feel into it, then what you can do is, okay, with this in mind, and as I feel into it, do I feel energized? Do I feel uplifted? Do I feel inspired? Is it moving? Do I want to follow that energy? And if the answer is yes, that's the passion part. But if the answer is no, you're going to feel depleted, drained, don't feel good. It's just not moving. And that's when you just know that it's not yours to do. And when you do know it's yours to do, what you keep on just asking is, what's the next step? And in the next step, I talk about the universe gives you the next step if you ask.
Yeah, and that was the key. If you act, yes, you keep taking action. You're
Well,
given direction.
Ask and take action.
Ask, yeah, and then take it. Once you get the answer, don't ignore it.
Right. Exactly right. Well, and if you do ignore it, if you kept on doing that business, if you kept on, eventually what would happen to you energetically? You would start, getting worn out, tired. You could get sick, maybe in an accident. Something would happen to get your attention. I mean, that's how the universe works. But when we do things that are not in alignment, and I'm not saying at times we don't have to, do certain things because we have to do certain things, maybe to pay the bills or do that. I'm not saying that from a, just this woo factor. You do that. But even if you have to do that, can you embrace it, that you see the gift in it and there's fun in it, there's joy, it's serving you in some way. And it's not only serving you, it's serving others in another way.
And thank you for clarifying that. It doesn't mean that all of life is going to be roses and perfect and you'll never have a bad moment or a bad day by any stretch. It doesn't mean that. But it does mean, like, when you do hit those ruts, if it is something you're really passionate about, you'll get through those ruts, over them, and past them much easier and then you'll be once again happy on the other end. I mean, I just went through some personal issues with family lately, and I would never wish all of this on anyone. They were health related in both cases, and it just drained me completely. I had nothing left in the tank. And I remember thinking about my business at that moment. At that moment, I thought, man, I don't know if I want to do this business anymore, because I was in a horrible state. The interesting thing I found, Amanda, was when I kind of came out of it, it took about 3 weeks. It was a long, horrible journey. But when I got through it and I was able to kind of see over the horizon again, and I thought about the business, I thought, no way am I quitting this. I love doing this. And so that was another thing to say, I've got it. I've got the right thing. I'm holding on to it with both hands. The previous one, I did have those days more often than I would care to admit, that they were arduous. They were like, I don't want to do this today. Like getting on and doing this show, I love what I get to do. This is just one tiny piece of everything that's involved in my whole business model. And this is the tiny piece, but I love every aspect of it. This is one of my faves. I get to talk to wonderful people like you, and I learn so much every single time. So it's a lot of fun. And I say all that not to like boast or brag, like, look at me, I've got such a great life, because we all have these issues that go on in our life. But it is possible for you, if you haven't found that thing that really moves your needle. Don't worry, keep plugging, keep going, keep searching, keep asking questions of those that are closest to you. So
I would say not only those closest with you, say do it with yourself. And what that means is the suggestion I would have with that is, if you don't have a spiritual practice like meditation, I would bring that in, because when you sit in meditation, you're putting the question out. That's usually prayer, is putting the question out. Meditation is receiving the answer. So being in quiet space or being out in nature, everyone's different how that works for them. But meditation would be one way, journaling would be another. The key piece is connecting with yourself within, connecting to your soul's essence, because your soul and all those that are around you, I talked about my spirit guides and the universe are there to help you, but they have to be invited in to help. So I would say sit with yourself first, then yes, you can ask others or listen to what others are saying. But the bottom line is it's listening to your heart and your intuition, your knowingness, because you know more, better than someone else does for you.
I love it. Yeah. And that's true. Ultimately, you do know. I mean,
Yeah.
when all these people came to me and told me these stories or these things they had observed about me, I was the one that decided if I thought they were true or not.
Right.
They just to be true. In that case, that was awesome. And you just reminded me of a gentleman I had on the show some time ago. His name's Jay Bradley. He specializes in breath work.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about meditation, it's kind of like hit that reset button, spend some time on yourself for yourself, because that's, meditation, breath work, it all has a similar effect when it's all said and done. It was like the weight of the world was lifted off my shoulders. I went through some sessions with them, and I was like unbelievably revitalized and ready to go and clean. It was like I just felt cleaned out, and meditation can do that as well as give you the answers you're looking for. So I love that you're saying all this, because it just rings true, all of this together. Would you recommend people go with, are there different types of these approaches that you deem that would be better than others, or is that up to the individual? When I talk about like meditation, breath work, there's EFT, there's all kinds of different approaches to getting in tune with oneself.
Yeah, I think there's different approaches, and I think you have to kind of experiment with it. And one of the things that happened for me when I left, my soul got me fired from corporate, I didn't have a plan B. So I spent 3 years after that doing a lot of healing, energetic healing work, going to different workshops, learning different tools and techniques. But then what happened was I ended up downloading what is called the Diamond CoCreative system. And that was back in 2001. That is all based on sacred geometry. Now, why is that key? Sacred geometry is the construct of the universe. It's how everything is made, including ourselves. If you even look at the structure, it's how we're made. And from a soul's essence level, we're as an outbreath of the divine, our whole energetic makeup is based on love. It gets skewed over time, but the basis is love. And the sacred geometry of love is the hologram of love, as well as Metatron's cube. So the system that I developed is based on sacred geometry and also spirituality, universal principles. So what it does is it helps you then realign back to love, realign back to who you truly are. And it also helps you with manifesting, because if you're not energetically aligned, like what we were talking earlier, vibrationally, then and you're not a match, what the system helps you do is get to that match point, and it helps you with that. So the system is used for helping people open up awareness and connection with themselves. So when they're in meditation, or even they can have it on their walls, because the sacred geometry is made up of, the system is made up of what we call energy codes. And they're coded, if you will, for certain types of qualities and purposes. So we have the power energy code, right? Or the connection energy code. And they're configured in different ways. They're added, they are combined in different ways for different purposes. But what it does, so is it's with that awareness and connection. But then also, let's say what we talked about earlier, Brian, where we were saying, if you're from if you have a conditioning or programming that's not in alignment with what you really want to create, or really who you truly are, you have to do the healing work on that. And that's the energetic realignment work and the transformation work that the system provides. But then it also offers the other piece is actually manifesting what you want because of one of the tools within the system. So it's a very in-depth, but it's also simple and easy to use system that can help with that. And we combine in all different ways, and part of what we'll be doing is sharing a little bit of that on a free retreat that I'll be having in April called Living Your All. And but it's an amazing tool. It's an amazing technology with tools and techniques that really work. I mean, I used to be super codependent, had major abandonment and rejection issues. And what I realized was I knew that was running me. And so I wasn't really feeling empowered, and I definitely was living in the third dimension. And as I started using the system and doing the energetic healing and transformation work with it, it shifted everything, and that doesn't run me anymore.
That's phenomenal. So what I want to do is take the opportunity to go a little bit deeper into what you do, who you do it for. Like, is it one-on-one? Is it group? Is it corporate entities? That kind of thing. And then if you can think of, I'll pull up your website as we do this. If you can think of a success story or two that you'd be willing to share with us, that, someone got some great results, would love to hear that as well.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So typically I work with, most of my clients are women. Doesn't mean that I don't work with men. And they usually are coming because they feel like something's missing. There's something, maybe they've already been really successful, but something is missing, or they're ready to upgrade, up level into something more. And as they come to me, what they're really looking for is to be connected to themselves. And there's definitely healing and transformation work to be done. And what I've found is that utilizing the system and teaching them how to use it themselves is the best way of doing it, both in one-on-one work, as well as one of the signature programs that I have is called Evolve Your All. And that's really about evolving into your all, meaning the absolute light and love that you are, but also your all, everything that you would like in your life, your life, your business, your relationships. So what has happened with this is that with the signature program, it's 5 months, 2 series of 5 months. And I'm teaching elevation principles and codes to people, how to operate, live, and create within the 5th dimension. So that's mostly what either the one-on-one, the Evolve Your All, and I did see when you were going through the website, there is a trip that I have coming up. It's a destination retreat to Bimini to swim with the dolphins. And that's June 19th through the 25th. And I still have a few spots left. But it is very much about opening your heart and living in joy and really moving into the authenticity that you are. And what you just see right there, vibrate to radiance, elevate your health and well-being. That is a series that I'm co-teaching with another gal, and we're teaching people how to work with their physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies, ways to take care of it and elevate your health and well-being to the 5th dimension, but also to really be vibrant, strong, regardless of what's going on out there. And there's the Living Your All free retreat. Thank you for showing that. That's April 9th, 4th through 9th. It's 9 a.m. to 10:15, only 75 minutes a day. And that will give you an introduction into the system but also an introduction into some other things. And there's the Bimini retreat that I was talking about. And that where we go, it's the company that hosts us talk about nurturance and talk about self-care. I mean, we go out on the boat every single day for 6 days and go swim with the dolphins. We're in these beautiful waters. And then for those of you that understand past lives and so on, this is actually the ancient lands and waters of Atlantis. So there are some things that we'll be doing around that too. So.
Wow, Atlantis.
Yes.
The ever infamous one. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for describing all that. And I failed to mention that Amanda herself has a gift for everyone when we close up shop for the evening, which, my gosh, I just look at the time. We're already approaching that. That's always a sign of having a good time, in my opinion.
Right. And you asked about an example. Can I just just want to give a quick example.
Please
so
do.
I had a client that came to me just probably 3-4 months ago, and she was in a world of hurt. I mean, she had a marriage that was falling apart. She didn't know who she was. She was a hot mess, so to speak. And she would even say that about herself. And within 2 months, you could already see the shifts. And in 4 months, there was a whole new person that would arrive, for her sessions. I do them via Zoom, but she would arrive. And there was this whole new radiance of who she is now. And then the evolution and the expansion that she's going into is amazing. And then, that's part of the healing and transformation, but also the other pieces, and this is part of the kind of segue into that free gift I'm giving everyone, is the manifestation template, which helps people manifest what they want in life. And people have used it to manifest homes. We did it with our home, manifest relationships, manifest money, manifest their jobs. And when you use this tool, I literally have a whole bunch of manifestation templates up here for different parts of the business as well as my life. And when you use this tool, there's an alchemical process that happens. You're giving it to the universe, and the universe is saying, okay, we got it. And the universe now will conspire with you and advocate for you. So I love this tool in there. And you can get it at this CoCreateYourSuccess.com/manifest your all. And it gives you the template plus ways to use it and examples and so on. And it's really one of the most powerful tools that I've ever seen to be used for manifestation.
I love it. And thank you so much for offering that free gift. You know what that means. We have a bomb dropping moment. I mean, knowledge bombs of wisdom, everything you can imagine. Amanda has brought it to the table here tonight, and I appreciate you for doing that. So that URL, one more time, for those of you that might not see it on the screen, especially those of you listening on podcast, it is CoCreateYourSuccess.com/ I have to look around my thing here. Manifest your all together. The last part after the / be sure it is all lowercase. Very important. So CoCreateYourSuccess.com / manifest your all. Be sure to go there. Free gift. Thank you, Amanda, from the amazing Amanda Slade. I mean, come on. What else could you possibly want? There's a lot more. And one of the things you could possibly want is, if you have not found your passion, we just found the key. We just found the key, and the key resides right here, dressed in blue. She will help you to find out what your passion is. And so I love how you secretly snuck that one in there. Is like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was part of what you did. That is amazing to me. that is something that you do, is elicit what their true passion is, help them to get to that passion for themselves. Am I representing that properly, Amanda?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's really helping them tap into, oh, this is who I am. Because like when I left corporate, I only identified myself as a VP of sales and marketing. I had no idea who Amanda was, what I wanted, what I was passionate about, because I only lived my life through shoulds. So, 4-letter word, right? And so I didn't when people would say, well, what do you want? I'd go, I don't know. Now if they ask me, my husband even like, really? I have to ask you that? Yeah, you're telling me what you want. But yeah, I definitely help people tap into that soul's essence, their passion, and really what their plan, soul's plan is for them. Because many times people think they're on that, and they are to a point, but there's another piece. I mean, that's one of the things that has kept me on track with what my business for 20 years is, because I keep tapping into, well, this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to share the Diamond CoCreative system, change one person at a time, help them soul by soul, and also to then teach others. We have a new accreditation program that we just launched for coaches and practitioners and teachers, so others can go out there, so it can be that ripple effect. So, and helping them tap into their passion and their mission of what they're here to do.
You just wonder, if you're watching this, do you think Amanda is at all passionate about what she does? I love it. It shows. It just flows right through the screen. And that's always a good sign when you are looking for someone to help you. Be sure they have the amount of passion that Amanda does. And, I wouldn't suggest that you reach out to Amanda directly and ask for her services. I wouldn't suggest that at all. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But definitely.
But anyone that's listening, when they go to the website, they'll see a little box that comes up, and they can actually book a 30-minute free consult called Create Your All. So
Sweet.
just saying.
You did give, I wanted to give it merit. I hit the wrong button. I want to bring up the website of the gift, just so people know when they've arrived. And here it is. It's that CoCreateYourSuccess.com/manifest your all. This is what you'll see when you arrive there. Sorry if you're listening on a podcast, but write this URL down and visit it. And you'll see the banner right at the top, Manifest Your All. And here's the schedule now box. I believe that's the one you were referring to,
Yep.
Amanda, bottom right.
Oh, yeah, bottom right. Yep.
You can schedule a chat, pull up her calendar, I'm sure. Here it comes. Wait for it. There it is. Oh, my goodness. She has different services.
There's all kinds of different services, but the top two, and I put the Zoom one. I like seeing people. Yeah. And but yeah, they can book that 30-minute consult.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So definitely do that. If you're watching or listening, definitely write that down. If you haven't already, go back and play it again. I've repeated it about 20 times so far. So I'm just having fun with you. And you can see, that she's had results. She's got folks that have reached out and said, I want to say thank you. And this is what you've done for me. They're all over her website, everywhere you go. That's always another good sign that you're with the person that knows what they're doing and getting the results. That's the bottom line to everything in life. Are you getting the results that you came for? And by my estimation, when you come to Amanda Slade, you will get just that. You will get the results that you're looking for. And she will tell you what to expect. She's a pro. She knows what she's doing. And that's the beautiful thing. You can just rest assured and just give yourself to her as far as, lead me into what I need to do. And I just want the result. And look at her. You can tell she doesn't bite. And if she does, it probably
Well, and I think one of the things that my clients say is, because many times they're coming to me feeling pretty broken, right? And worn down. And all they feel from me is love, acceptance, and compassion. So even when they feel like, oh, well, I didn't do the homework or I didn't do this, I'm like, come here, and not that I don't do a kick your butt once in a while, but it's pretty much, they just know that they're safe when they come and work with me. And there's a big trust factor that's between me and the it. So,
and definitely correction and discipline are core components of love. It's not all just lovey-dovey and hugs and stuff. If necessary, it's not always necessary, but if necessary, there's correction and discipline, and you can tell that she does it with love. And that's the beautiful thing. I've had that, been on the receiving end of discipline or correction, I would call it, in the case I'm thinking of. And it really didn't feel good at the moment. I'm sure yours feel good, but this one did not feel good. But I did some retrospect and realized I know this person is coming from a space of love. They're doing this to help me. And that got me right over it and quickly back into the driver's seat and rolling on.
When people are hitting up against a wall and feel resistance, that's where I just coach them, mentor them through. The resistance is your ego. Your ego's, it kind of likes where it's at because it knows this. But what I'm putting out to you is it doesn't know what's on that other side. It's the unknown, and that fear of the unknown, the ego goes, oh, no, we'll just keep with this. This is familiar. Even if it's super uncomfortable, they stay with it. And so I just kind of gently help them, push them along with that. And sometimes they don't like it. My ego doesn't like it too. I've been through it myself, so I get it. But that's where you want to make friends with your ego and lift it up into the divine mind.
Yeah, so you can take that first step onto that fourth dimensional bridge and start crossing over.
You got it.
Side, which is a beautiful side. I love the whole description of it. Oh my goodness, we're coming up at the end, and I did not forget we're going to reveal how to win that 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort in just a moment. But what I like to do, Amanda, is I like to end every show with this one very powerful question. And I've done this for a number of years now. And I didn't do this from the beginning, but I learned after doing it several times. I asked this one question. I just remembered the answers being very profound. And I thought, wow. So I began with the concept of ending every show with this question because it's such a wonderful way to end it. It's a powerful way. And we'll get to that in just a minute. So I will get to the prize, and then we're going to come back and ask that earth-shattering question. No, it's not that. It's not that. So real quick, with your permission, I'm going to bring up how you can win a 5-night stay at a 5-star luxury resort. Compliments of thebiguinsidersecrets.com. Jason Ness, my good buddy. So I want you to do this. Write this URL down, and we'll give it a couple hours after the show is over. You can still submit your entry to win. So you can relax. Just write this down because I don't want you to miss this final question. All right, so here it is. I'll bring it up on the screen right now for those of you watching live. And that is, go to this URL after you write this down, and after the show's over, go to ryp.im/vacation. Again, that's ryp.im/vacation. Enter to win. And just as a side note, Amanda, guest hosts are allowed to enter as well. Yes, I've had one win before. It's been pretty awesome. Everybody is allowed to enter. We hold nobody back. So ryp.im/vacation. Go ahead and write that down and enter it after the show's over. And we're at that point. So, Amanda, this question, here's one of the really, really cool things about it, is there is no such thing. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as a wrong answer.
Okay.
In fact, the exact opposite is the truth, which is the only correct answer is yours. And so it's unique to you. It makes it kind of personal, but only because it's unique to you. And here's the other thing. If you come across the answer in an instant, or if you come across the answer after 10 seconds, 20 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, guess what? It's perfect because it's your answer. It doesn't matter. So we can go through that silence. It's okay. Whatever it is for you is perfect. And this is your time to shine. So are you ready, Amanda Slade?
Yes, I am. Bring it on.
Man, love it. She is ready. All right, here we go. Amanda Slade, how do you define success?
I define, if you asked me that 10 years ago, it would have been different. As you notice, my website is called CoCreate Your Success. Success for me is very much about being in my authenticity, feeling fulfillment and contentment, and serving others through love. I call my team that I have on my staff the SOUL team, and the SOUL team is serving others within unified love. For me, that is success, when we can do that, and when we can be such a positive impact and influence to helping others be uplifted, to expand the consciousness of humanity, and also to help this beautiful planet that we live on.
You know what's coming, don't you? Yes. Wow. Smart bombs of wisdom, knowledge bombs, all from the one and only Amanda Slade. Amanda, I can't express to you how much I appreciate you for coming on to the show this evening and talking with me and our audience live, which for some is a daunting thing to do. You had it. You're like amazing. You're a pro at this. You brought some incredible value, have gifts. And the thing is I learned a ton, and I know so many others will. I had never heard of this thing called, what was it again? It was sacred geometry. I'm like, what is that? That is pretty cool. I probably just have been living under a rock, and it's been well known to everybody else. I've never heard of it myself, but that's the beautiful thing about doing this show for myself. Now, I recommend everyone have their own show, whether a podcast or a live video, either one, because you learn and you grow as a result of meeting amazing people like Amanda Slade. That's why I say that, is because of people like Amanda that you get to grow, that you get to improve. And it's just a gift. It's a gift. I didn't charge Amanda to come on. She could have charged me because she just taught all this. It was amazing. So appreciate you, Amanda. Is there any last parting word you would like to give as, let's say a word of advice to someone who might be struggling and they're not sure what direction their life should go? Is there something you would like to part ways and give them this last thing to think about as we call it a night?
Yes, I would say that for any problem that you have, there is always a solution. The universe doesn't give us a problem or a challenge without there being the opposite of a solution to it. And I say soul, SOUL, lution. And when you can be quiet enough and tap into your soul's essence, then you can hear what the answer is. And the next, even if it's a baby step, that baby step will get you to the next step.
Ending it on the 5th generation note of there is hope, and you are in a state of abundance when you're around Miss Amanda Slade. Thank you so much, Amanda. And for everyone out there, we appreciate your time and love you all for coming on and watching and listening. Until next time on the Mind Body Business Show, we have another one coming up next week. I'm your host, Brian Kelly, on behalf of the amazing Amanda Slade. So long, everyone, and be blessed. Take care.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you for tuning in to the Mind Body Business Show podcast at www.themindbodybusinessshow.com. My name is Brian Kelly.